Bill, your sort of race, 22 runner handicap. I tipped up 2 early in the week and 1 doesn't even run. So I'm going to be relying heavily on Pondus just to get back my stake money. What have you backed, mate?
Yeah, well, do you know what? It's a great wide open race as you expect. A lot of the Irish horses like Pondus and kind of True Self have naturally made their way to the top of the market. I like one at a huge price, and I'm talking.
Oh, here we go. Big price alarm.
Yeah, big price alarm. It's around 40 to 1. I like a horse right the way down the bottom called Glencadam Glory of Tim Easterby's. He is a 40 to 1 shot. It's 40 to 1 out there. He's
going to make sure there's none left.
Yeah, he's a really talented horse on his day and has been crying out to be stepped back up to 1 mile and 6. He sneaks in, as I said, at the foot of the weights. If you watch the last couple of runs, he's run on really late at the death. He's pretty versatile when it comes to ground, but the ground, I'm working on the basis it'll probably be good come Saturday. He ran on really well behind Deja at Haydock over 1.5 miles and ran on again over 1.5 miles at Ripon. He was only just touched off, beaten a length by Spanish Archer. That form is well below what's required, but you have to ask yourself the question, why do they keep running him over 1.5 miles when he looks like a 2 mile horse or a 1 mile and 6 horse? It's because I think the E-Ball's been a plan. Tim Easterby has his team in great form. Whether he's quite good enough to win, I don't know. But at 40 to 1, he'll do for me as a real big each way play in a wide open race. And the other one I'd have a few quid on is Verdana Blue. I was against her at Ascot, but if the ground dries out, there's a lot of wind around it.
That is critical, though, the ground to her, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. But it's not going to be, I think the rain has gone. So it'll be good.
Try telling Chepstow that.
Good flat ground is what Verdana Bleu wants, and I just think she'd run really well. Ryan Moore's booked to ride, didn't quite get home over the 2.5 at Ascot last time at the Royal Meeting, but I thought she would be a player. So I would take Glencadam Glory and Verdana Bleu.
Note it down, ladies and gentlemen. He's had a 50 to 1 winner in the Derby. Can he have a 40 to 1 winner in the E-Ball? Get on the Star Sports site and take the 40 now. Right, let's whiz back to the main race on the undercard, the York Stakes. My friend One Master, the filly, she won Master after our bloopers reel and I got killed for that. She's a lovely horse, isn't she? And she got her there in the sun at Goodwood last time out. She'll probably go to France for the Le Forêt again and hopefully she can win that for the 3rd year in a row. But Sylv, you team up with Shines So Bright for Andrew Balding, who won the race last year, I believe. Couple of promising starts at Epsom and Newbury, but a nice draw and every chance at a track that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's he been consistent. Looks like he's 100% now, and he's a horse to me. We find the best of him and atop the ground. I don't know if you're gonna get top the ground here on a Saturday. I think he go with a chance. He gonna run with a big chance of the good draw. He's fast, and I might give everyone a lead, and they let me in front, and I hope can go by the line in front. He's uncomplicate horse, but now he's a grown-up boy, so you have to do with almost with 9-6 now. So but he's a player in the race, I'd say.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought he'd be shorter than 12 to 1. Bill, there's a few old fans' favourites in here. Safe Voyage, Escobar, a horse with a monumental reputation, Threat, who's left the money behind for the owners a few times lately. Where are you heading?
Yeah, I think One Master will probably win. She's in good form, 7 furlongs, tiny bit of juice in the ground's ideal for her. Wouldn't want it to dry out anymore, but it'll be much better ground than it was, or softer ground than it was at Goodwood. She's a definite player and sets the bar very high. If she's to get turned over, it could well be the horse you just mentioned, Threat. If the ground does continue to dry out, 3-year-old Shine So Bright won it last year. Just had too much for the older horse, and Threat could run well with Ryan Moore in the saddle. But no, I wouldn't really want to look beyond One Master at this point.
Fair enough. Okay. Good luck, Silver, on trying to say, but I definitely think well overpriced at 12-9. Right, let's nip back and go through the card in order then, and quickly touch on the other races. And the feature of the day for me already is non-runners. Managed to back a non-runner in the Ebor. And my old mate, Sil, Fox Chairman, this was going to be his moment for me, and he doesn't run it in the 150. But we've got a few household names here. Lord Glitters, Dark Vision, who's been running so impressively all season. Beringer, Bill, this looks tricky. I thought Lord Glitters looked to lay it at 3-1 to me. I think best days are slightly behind.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think Lord Glitters will win.
Oh, here we go.
I definitely wouldn't necessarily have him in the lay camp. Lord Glitters won this race.
I think that's the right trip for him, mile 1.
Yeah, well, he won this race 2 years ago, so it wasn't.
Yeah, but things are a lot different to 2 years ago.
It wasn't the
I definitely looked better 2 years ago.
You definitely had shorter hair 2 years ago, but
you definitely had more hair 2 years ago.
Right back at you, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Lord Glitters is that he had a well-documented hold-up this year, and people are quick, like yourself, to say he's not the horse he was, but he hasn't really proved that he wasn't the horse. His first run, he was hurried back to action behind Mohatha at Ascot and didn't run that bad. He was 4th behind him last month. And then followed that at York with a good run over a much further trip, 1 mile 2.5. So it's not even.
Yeah, that's what's confusing. Look at them sending him over that trip. It made me think, what are they trying to do here?
I think it was just an opportunity for it. It was a local track for them to go and have a go at chasing home Aspetar and Fox Chairman, and
get a bit of match fitness as well for later in the season.
He had good horses in behind. He had the likes of Regal Reality, and who's been out on one since. He had Elicam in behind him. So Telecaster, it wasn't a terrible performance. I still think the fire still burns within. And obviously, sadly, his owner died earlier in the season, and I think it will be a emotional victory for them. I think the race is shaping to be the ideal race for him again, and I think he'll be held on to pounce late and win.
Oh, I take it back. I hope the fire's still burning. The only reason I hope he gets beat is just so you're wrong and I'm right. Sil, I love Dark Vision here. 10-1 chance, and I thought that looked the play to me. Lord Glitters, yes or no?
No, go for Dark Vision.
Yeah, there we
go. Dark Vision all over. Small field, really gonna sit down the back, and he's gonna get the money. All about, I think Dark Vision is the one.
Are you writing this down, Bill?
No, I'm just smiling.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm smiling. The pair of you, I'm smiling because I think the pair of you got it wrong. I think Lord Glitters will win.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'll be getting you two on FaceTime or ignoring my phone for about an hour afterwards. So, but let's get on to the 225 because you've got a ride in the race, Silv. You ride Wise Glory for the Christopher team, who've been in good nick, a nice lightweight, step up in trip, won 3 of 4 starts this season. A nice horse, a nice ride in short.
Yeah, he's with a low weight, and then when you look at the top weight, I think we got every chance. The horse has been running consistent. Simon doesn't have many running in big meetings, but I think this one it could be well in with the weights. So I think it could be a good play in this race. I think he's gonna run very well.
Yeah, I think 14-1 looks very appealing. Bill, sadly, 15 runners. Frustration there for the each-way backers. 4-1 the field. You got Kips 5-1. Rumoured to be the best handicap horse in the country at one point this season. Where's your pen landing here?
I thought this was horrible. I thought it was one of the hardest handicaps of the whole week. Early in the week I was favouring Favourite Moon, but I'm not sure about him. Kips is probably the obvious one. Another Ryan Moore one, but that form behind Huckham now is very strong. The Ascot race, but the problem with all these horses is that most of them are stepping up to 1 mile and 6 for the first time, which makes things a bit tougher. The thing with Kips is that he ran well behind Zabeel Champion last time, off a marker 91, and for some reason the handicappers dropped him £3. I couldn't really work out. I didn't think that was that disappointing a run to have him drop £3. So I thought he was definitely giving him a chance, and that was the main reason I kept coming back to him. Ryan Moore was booked for him very early in the week. I thought Kipps would get my vote, and at a bigger price one, you normally want to go for one that is a proven stayer, and Arthurian stay at Fable of Brian Meehan's proved he stayed, but the draw isn't great. But yeah, I'd go with Kipps.
Tricky. Right, the 4:10. Silv, you ride a lovely filly for Tim Easterby called Winter Power, who was very impressive at Redcar and tried to come out potentially too quickly, really, at Goodwood. It came a bit too quick for her, and she came fourth, but had a couple of weeks off. Nice big price as well. I'm looking here, 16-1 on the card, and if you forget that Goodwood run where I think you potentially think she ran too quick, hold on to her, put her in front, 110 yards from the line. It's a big price, 16s.
Yeah, and probably the track will suit her better as well. Nice even surface like York, and when she won very impressive at Redcar. I think she come to this race with a chance. The race came too quick since when she won, and after 3 days you have to go to Goodwood travel, and it's not easy on a 2-year-old. But I'm delighted she's in the race, and I think we go with a chance.
Bill, Politics is a horse that's had a huge reputation. Has punted off the boards on debut when it just got touched off at Ponty, but came back in style at Stand Down and got their money back. And so look, the horse for me in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's another hard race to go lid on. You've got the 2-year-olds, 6 boys against 6 girls. No kind of collateral form to really get your teeth into. It's hard. Politics is probably the obvious one. I'd imagine he'll be market leader. He, like most of those Andrew Balling juveniles, they stepped massively forward on their first run, and he was much better last time. Probably he'll be too short for me. I would have thought he'll make his way to the front of the market. There's a horse here, Nomadic Empire, the O'Hara horse.
O'Hara horse, yeah.
They'll be busy celebrating their Lord Glitter success from earlier in the day, and they could easily have a double here with Nomadic Empire. He is pretty useful, and drying ground will help him. His best run came at first last time. That was a big step forward on the York run, but he's been to York and run well, and I thought Nomadic Empire would get my vote.
Oh, the David O'Meara fan club continues, eh? Well, we know what we're talking about, don't we, Sil? Let's get on to the 4:40, because you're not got a ride in the 5:10, so we'll round up the week. The Zoom room will finish with the 4:40. Looking down the card here, looking at Maidani, it reminded me of a couple of weeks ago when I said to you, you can't go back in these horses after they've been beaten at odds on, when you won about 50 lengths on him at Goodwood. You wouldn't mind being on him in this, but our old mate Pivawan, who won the John Smith's Cup off sort of £4 higher at York a couple of years ago. Things haven't really gone for him, have they, in recent times? Would it be safe to say he's up against it, or do you think this is a chance for him to bounce back?
Yes, absolutely. But he's a horse, he depends the ground. He likes the dry ground. He's slipping slightly down in the handicap, and I think he's in the right company. If he gets the ground in a day, he will be a player. Last time in Chester, the ground went soft. It was a desperate ground, and he just didn't enjoy. But he traveled good when the push come to shovel, and he just struggled on the ground. But York is a better ground, I believe. Long straight suits him.
Bill, do you think Sil would like to be on Maidani again?
No, I think he gets on well with Pivawan. I think he'll enjoy Pivawan. I mean, Maidani is the obvious one, but £11 higher.
Yeah, to be fair, that is a big pull in the weights. In the 11, he's been hammered for that, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is York, and what York does to you is always don't expect the obvious. And the obvious in races like this are your Maidanis, your Sinjaris, the horses that have recent good form to look at. And what you've got to try and visualize, I always think, is the upset, and where's the upset going to come from. And I've looked at this race. It's probably more open than the markets will suggest. There's a couple of horses that could go well at very big prices. I just think they could be forgotten. One of them is the horse down the bottom, Society Red, has just 8 stone in the saddle for Richard Fahey, who's traditionally does well at this meeting. Cam Hardy takes the ride. This is a 6-year-old who is running about nearly £10 lower than he was this time last year, and ran on well over a mile last time. Has to step up again, but just could hit the frame at a big price. I'm just convinced there's a race in Society Red still. Thought he'd go well. And another one I thought may have be overlooked in the betting is Tim Easterby's horse, a Shark, I don't know how you pronounce it. I thought that, again, 7-year-old, so fully exposed, but had the one pipe opener. I'd imagine, knowing the connections in the yard, that this has been the plan for some time. Now, this is a horse that finished 8th behind Pivawan in that Diamond Jubilee Cup, or whatever you call it, last year. Now, wasn't beaten far, only beaten 4 or 5 lengths. That was off a mark of 96. Couple of pounds lower, should run well in a wide open race. So I take those two. I take Society Red and a Shark.
This guys, thank you so much for your time this week. When we get these festival weeks and we get you both on here, we really do appreciate your time. Silv, good luck. Ride some winners. Bill, back every horse you put up that wins apart from Lord Glitters. And until probably Donny for the St. Ledger, thanks a lot, and I'll see you then.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.